Howdy folks, this is Ken with Kenjutsu Bring It to Life, and today we are proceeding with part 2 of my new modeling props in Blender series. Last time we modeled a Kokiri Sword from the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time for my little baby nephew, and today we'll be completing the set with the Deku shield. I'll likely be making larger versions of these a little later, but for now I need to make these mini versions before Christmas. Alright, starting off, I'm not sure why, but OBS keeps cutting off the first bit of audio, so here we are in Blender, and I'm adjusting the view to the Y-axis and adding my reference image by holding Shift and hitting A. Let's see where we are. Where did I put you? Zelda, Deku Shield, there we go. Alright, and here we go. Alright, first thing I want to do is scale it. I think I will use this cube. Just thin it out by hitting S and then Y, so we can go along the Y-axis. We're going to make it fairly flat. You know what? Let's push that back and push the image backwards. There we go. Okay, we're going to want to switch our units since I am going to 3D print this. Millimeters, which is better. So I'm going to go with millimeters here. And let's see. Let's go up here and check edge length so we get an idea of where we are. 2000 is way too big. We're going to hit Control A to bring up this menu and the scale. So it's down considerably, but we still need it a bit lower. Let me check on my calipers about how big I want this shield. Actually, let me get the sword. I want it to match. Okay, so the sword is... calipers aren't big enough, but around 150 millimeters maybe? So, how big should the shield be? Should it be about so big? Let me see. Thinking 120? Maybe we'll do 120. 120 millimeters for the general size of it, so we're going to go turn that value 120. Oh, and I'm hitting, with the entire thing selected, I'm hitting S to scale, and then we're just moving in towards the cursor here. And let's see how thick we want it. Maybe 10 millimeters? Because we're going to try to, yeah. Oh, you know what? If I want to curve it, like I kind of want to do, like a shield is kind of meant to be, let's go ahead and try that. So we're going to scale this down, selecting it, S, and then just bringing it all the way down here. Let's go to X-ray view. We can see the edges a bit better. There we go. And let's bring that up. I selected the image, hit G, and now hit Y, and now I'm bringing it up just to get a little closer to us. Let's hit Snap, Active, Vertex. I just like having it there. Okay, so to get that curve, I think I'm going to open up Shift A, go up to Mesh, and I'm going to use a cylinder, a rather large cylinder like this. Let's go ahead and scale that and shrink it down to size. See, we don't want too much of a curve, so hit S for scale and then X to go along the X-axis, and we're going to widen that out a bit. Because we want a subtle curve. Don't want too much of a curve, but we want a curve. So, let's see. That's going to be the curvature that we're working on. It's a subtle curve. That should be okay. Alright, so we don't need all of this. We're just going to select this and get rid of that. And that'll be our curve. That's, I don't feel like that's going to be enough. So let's get these two edges here, and then we're going to subdivide and see if we can go back to vertices and smooth it out a bit. Maybe that'll help with the curvature. Because if we did it the other way, these faces would make it really flat, polygonal, and we're not too interested in the polygons. We want something that's a bit smooth, especially since a baby's going to be having it. So yeah, we want to get rid of any sharp edges or hard edges. We want things to be kind of rounded. And we could add more, but you know what? I think we could add some more. I don't want to make it too complex either, but let's just smooth that out a bit more. I think that's okay. Alright, so now we're going to take our edges and just scale along the z-axis, bring that up, and we're going to keep our square, because now we're going to make the general shape of it. So in vertices mode, I'm going to start putting these vertices to work here for us. Get these in the general area of where we want, and then we can subdivide these a couple times. Oops, not that. Might not need all these points. We definitely don't need these internal points here. Get rid of those for now. And we'll just put these along the edges to make the shape of our shield. We need one more. Boop. Okay, I should probably explain that one. What I did was go into X and then delete vertices. No, that's what I'm doing now. Edge, and then right click and then subdivide to create another vertice in there, and then we just clicked on it and hit G to grab it so we can move it around. And I'm going to get rid of that by hitting Control Z to undo, and now we just got the edge again. Alright, boop. Don't really need these, so we're gonna dissolve these vertices. With those selected, I hit X, and then went down to dissolve vertices, and now we just got a straight line over there. Didn't need all of them. I still have snap on, so let's turn that off for now, and we're gonna dissolve this vertice as well. So click it, hit X, and then dissolve vertice, and there we go. And we have the general shape that we're going for our shield. So now I want to make this design in here. So I'm going to drag this guy over here and just make a little edge there. And then we're going to get rid of this edge because we don't need it. And then we're going to use E to continue to extrude and just create our design here the best that we can. Doesn't need to be that clean. We're going to bevel it in a little bit to round it out, make it look nice. So we're just kind of quick and dirty. Getting around. Boop, 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 boop. And then connect the shape there. And then we're gonna subdivide, I think. Yeah. And then we're gonna smooth, right click and then smooth vertices. And just 2 iterations. Let's see what one looks like. Yeah, seems about right. Seems about right. Now, there's also like this bark-like ness going on with the shield. I wonder if we should include something like that. One way we could do that would be to, let's see, we could, no, I don't want to do that. Because we could just make some lines down, subdivide here and just do lines down here like so, and kind of craggle them out a bit to make it look barky. We could create another vertice down here. No, not delete. We want to subdivide. And then I'm going to click on it and then hit Shift V so I can slide the vertice along this edge. We're going to put it over here just so we can connect these two together. And we could do that all across it. I wonder which way would be best. You know, I think this could work. This could work. Let me see. Do I want to do anything here? You know what? I have a different way I want to do this. Alright, so I'm going to drag these down here. We'll take care of this later, actually. I have a plan. There is a method to the madness here. I'm going to bring those down a bit, and this one also has some. Let's put this one over here. Well, that one's fine. Maybe this one just a wee bit. No. Okay, so we're gonna do this craggliness over here. Let's say there's one down here, so I'm gonna prepare, subdivide, and then we'll just connect with E to extrude, and then we're just gonna go up here, and then connect these with F. And then we'll subdivide here as well, and Control V to put it kind of close. Control V, and then what we'll do to create these these canyons, these valleys, is duplicate, move it over here just a wee bit, and then we'll connect these with F. And we'll do that for this one as well. Subdivide, and then duplicate with Shift D, and then I'm hitting G and then X to move it along the X-axis, and then we'll go back to Shift V to move this along the vertice again. We're moving along the edge, I mean. And then we'll just connect these. Whoops. Trying to rip things. Wrong button. Alright. And I'm going to click on this and hide it for now. I don't really need it too much. And it looks like we have some connection going on here. So maybe we'll create some more little valleys. Let's say around these two. Let's push this one down here, and this one kind of up here. And we'll create another vertice here. And we'll doesn't have to be precise, just giving the shield a little character is all we're doing right now. I mean, this is not totally necessary. You could definitely get by without doing this, but no, I want to make it nice. I want to make it accurate. That's kind of my thing. So we're going to do the same thing over here and create another area over here. Let's say maybe like this, and then we're going to extrude, and then boop. How many did I create here? What? What is this attached to? Nothing. Okay, delete that. Oops. We got that going on. Then we have a little loose one over here. Okay, Shift V, and then we'll just extrude this entire edge a bit, shrink that sort of, and we don't need these faces. Maybe another one up here. Let's see. Let's connect that over here-ish. We'll do something like this. Okay, and then let's create another one over here. Shift V, and that'll be over here. And this kind of comes off as another little individual one here. This is going to be kind of a hassle to paint, but how about one in here? Let's see. Extruding over here. Alright. Maybe we can extend that one out. Maybe even come across, branch over there, like so. Is that another one going over? Oh. We're kind of coming over here. And this. Okay, we can magnetize these by going snap and then merge. So we can just drag this over this, and those will become one vertice. Just to speed that up just a wee bit. I'll turn these into, oops. Control Z to undo, and then drag that over here, turn off that for now. Let's make another one over here. Okay, subdivide this one twice. Drag that guy over here. Now extrude some more. Let's see. We got some more over here. Okay, maybe another one over here. Oop. This over here. Over here. Boop. 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 Let's add another one over here. And we could just create this into a face by selecting all four of those and hitting F to create a face in between them. We could select these, subdivide maybe 3 times, and we'll just move these wherever looks decent. Shrink that a bit. And then we can just move these edges. Also an option. We could create something here. I wonder if we should worry about this chip. Maybe not. That at the shield size is going to be such a small detail. It might not even get picked up by the printer. It might not even get picked up. Let's do that little trick again. These guys, a couple of subdivides. Just don't need these edges. Oop. Select. And yeah, we got some bark. Alright, that could work, that could work. Okay, we got our symbol, we got that. What else do we need? Well, I guess now we can cut it, so I'm going to unhide the cylinder. Now we're going to use knife project to put it onto this pattern that we just created, putting it onto our curve. So we're going to select the curve, Then we're going to go to edit mode using tab. And then we're going to select over here our cube. That's our design there, so you can see it selected now. Then we're going to face it on, dead on, and then we're going to go to mesh, knife project, and bam. Now that mark should be on there. Might not look great. Let's hide that. And it's basically on there. Let's check it for details. It looks pretty good. Not that bad. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Okay, so this might be the tricky part. So, since we want to give it some depth, we're not going to need the rest of this anymore. It has served its purpose and served it well. Let's go ahead and retire this. Let's right click and delete vertices. Okay, and now we want to give it some depth. So we're going to try to select all these outer vertices here, holding Shift, Alt, and then left clicking. So we try to get the Shift, sometimes just Shift to get one vertex, and Shift Alt to get edge loops like this, but then you sometimes end up with that. So we're going to edge, and then get rid of those edges that we don't need, and I think that's the whole edge. Okay, let's give it some depth, and I said like 10 millimeters, so how close is that? Okay, this is not to scale. Let's Control A, hit scale. Try that again. There we go. There we go. No, maybe 10 millimeters. That way we can get some depth on the shield. And it's not too thin, so it's not too fragile. Hopefully it will survive my nephew. Actually, you know what? We might actually need that, the curve to create this backwards bit here. Because otherwise we're going to lose a lot of curve. Well, we want the curve. So we're going to Control Z all the way back until we have the curve. Getting up here, and we want this curve, so let's go ahead and Shift Alt on these vertices to select them. And I'm going to do Shift D to duplicate, and then I'm going to grab it with G and then push it back with Y, so we can kind of preserve that bit there. And now we're going to Alt click to get these vertices again, and we're going to get rid of those. So now we have that. Basically back where we were. Ooh. Actually, we might still need that. Wait. I feel like I'm brain farting here. No, what we need is the outer edge. That's what we need, without all the bark lines and the symbol. Okay. So we're gonna go back to getting rid of this. I think is fine. And then we're gonna bridge some edge loops over here. So after selecting that, I went into edge, get rid of these two edges, right click, then bridge edge loops, and now we got that going on. And we'll get the normals going, Shift N to get those normals recalculated. And let's go into this one and collect this edge here. So we are still in need of it in order to keep that curve on both sides, the front and the back here. So I think that's all of it. Get rid of that. Now we're going to duplicate by Shift D and bring that up, and now we're going to hit P to separate it into two different objects. So I hit P and then selection, so now this outer edge is its own thing. Let's get this to be its own thing as well. So L, I clicked on one of the vertices and hit L to select all that it's attached to, and then P, and now we're going to separate that. And now we have these two bits, so we're going to do a knife project onto this again. And just to create the kind of backboard for our shield. So after selecting that, hit, we gotta collect this guy, which is, which one? This one? Awesome. Then I'm gonna face right on, mesh, knife project, and now we have the back of our shield as well. Okay, so now you should be done. This, we collect all those, go to that. Now these two should be joinable. Control J when you select both the items to turn them into one object. And now we could, should be able to get these edge loops here. Actually, you know what? We can just select the whole thing and then get rid of the edges like this. Hitting what? C for that circle view, and then Shift and then left click to get rid of these edges that are no longer necessary. Oops. Actually, I guess they are. Because we want to bridge loop the edge loop of these, or bridge these edge loops, yeah. I think that's all of them, hopefully. Let's see, bridge edge loops, there we go. There we go, so now we still have our curve preserved. Alright, now we're cooking. Alright, G on all this and push it with Y, because I still want it to be somewhat loop. Alright, let's scale this again with Control A, and then go back to G, grabbing it with G and pushing it forward with Y, and we'll say 10 inches. My OCD is telling me 10 inches has to be exact. It does not. Let's see, recalculate normals with Shift N again, and hide that. Alright, so let's get rid of the edge lengths here. Alright, so this is going to take a minute, but let's select all of our designs, all of these bark patterns, as well as this guy. I'm shift left clicking here, because we're going to want to sink that into the shield a bit. Wait, You know, it might actually be easier to extrude everything else. Actually, let's see. Hit everything besides that. Let's see how this works instead. I think that'll just be less work overall. Remember not to hit any of the wait. Yeah. Okay. Oops. Okay, I think that's, excuse me, oh, that's everything. I feel like I'm probably missing a bit, but let's see. We'll hit E to extrude, and then push forward along the Y-axis by hitting Y. And now we have our depth. I feel like I missed something here. No. Oh, should be fine. Now we have our symbol along with our bark pattern on there. We still kept our curve. Let's thin the shield up a bit, because I'm still, for some reason, my brain is telling me 10 inches. Oops. Still got this. Yep. Fill it up a bit. Where are we? Where are we? Edge length 3, 5, 6. That's pretty close. Pretty close. I'm suddenly not concerned. Okay. Okay, we have the depth. Is it too much? Too little? It seems fine. I wonder how we're gonna paint this though. I guess that's a worry for future me. Okay, I still want to get this going on, so that wooden pattern, let's see, how do we want to do that? How indeed. Okay, this isn't going to be precise, but we can still do what I originally planned, even with this leveling here, these levels. So I'm going to select these top ones up here, these top vertices, and then we're just going to G and then Z and then pull them up. Are we touching anything else? I don't think so. Pull them up, pull them up, pull them up. I guess this one can be a little higher. I wonder if this will work. And then we'll go to active element. So this white one here is our active element. Oops, and with all those selected, see if we can turn this. It's not bad. It's not bad. What I did is hit R and then I'm dragging up. So we're kind of rotating it along that active element, and then we can hit S to scale and then push it over a little bit. There we go. Yeah, so that'll work. That'll work. And then we'll do the same over here. This road R. Oh, I seem to have forgot someone over here. It's okay. Pull it up. And now we gotta do something similar with this guy. So we're gonna select all these vertices up here. Okay. Alright. Oh, forgot y'all already. Alright, and we're gonna just drag these up a bit, just so it's more of a straight line. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That ain't not bad. That ain't not bad. Alright, let's do the same for this, then. Around here-ish. I'll drag that downward. Sure how that worked out, but okay. I'll just put you up. That's not the exact shape, but that's fine. We could drag it over if we really wanted to. The obsessive compulsion is powerful with this one. Alright, alright. And then we'll just straighten out this curve a little bit. Okay. Alright, that's not bad. That's not perfect, but what is really? What is? So I'm thinking too many sharp points here, but I want to bevel these guys. At least this one's not going to want to bevel too well, unfortunately. Actually, we can move this down just a bit with Shift V, and then we can get this edge, and especially this edge, and the other ones will probably just sand later once it's printed. I really want to bevel this bit a bit. What's going on here? Being kind of awkward, and I'm not entirely sure why it's trying to connect like that. Are there more vertices in here? Let's try the normals. Maybe we should just bevel this one individually. Oh, and you can roll up and down on the mouse wheel to get more of a bevel. This one's gonna be kind of awkward. Let's see what it does. That's ugly. Well, all I really want to do is get rid of this point, so we'll just move it down. Get rid of those points. And I mean, we could sand this smooth, and I probably will end up doing so regardless. But I kind of also want to bevel it. So we're just going to grab these outer edges here. And I'm using Shift and Control and left clicking. Oop. All our outer edges, and then we'll give it a little bevel. Just enough to, ooh. Why is it doing that here? That is hideous. Okay, I don't think we're gonna bevel it. Forget that. Maybe it's because the curvature going on or something. Not liking that. Alright, we'll just sand it down. It's so small. It's not gonna matter. Alright, let's do the handle. So I'm gonna do a center grip shield. So we're not gonna need you right now. In order to do that, I'm gonna make sort of a little loopy bit here. And in order to do that, we'll shift right click to move our cursor around, and then we'll Shift A to open this menu and get us a circle. And we'll make this maybe 10 inches wide. Well, that's actually 20, because that's radius there. So we're gonna grab it and then rotate it along the x-axis and hit 90. Just type in on the numpad and 90. And there we have one side of the handle. And I guess we can do how long should this be? We grab both of them and extrude it, and along the y-axis by hitting Y. How large should this be? Checking the calipers. I think 10 millimeters wide should be plenty. This is actually 20 like I mentioned, so let's just start over. Circle, and let's do 5. Since that's radius, we're gonna get a 10 diameter circle 10mm diameter circle. Get that at 90 again. And duplicate with Shift D. I got that. It's about center, I think. Or close enough. You know what? Maybe shift just a little bit. Okay. Okay, first thing I want to do is do a knife project. So we got the and then we gotta click on our circles. Control left click on our circles. And then we're gonna say at the back, and then we're gonna go to mesh and knife project. That way we got that all ready and ready. Okay, hollowed that out a bit. You'll see why in a little bit. And we'll extrude here along the Y. And how deep should this go? Let's say, I was thinking 20mm would be pretty decent. Should be enough for little baby fingers to get in there. Hope so. Hope so. Okay, then what we're going to do is to active element, we're going to get that, make sure it's at the bottom one. Do is extrude, but we're not going to go anywhere, so I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to hit R for rotation, and then we're going to go down, control, and then drag down to 30 degrees. Okay, that's because auto merge was already on, so we're going to turn that off so the vertices don't end up merging into each other, and try that again. Boop. Then we're going to do it again for another 30 degrees, and then another 30 degrees to get our 90 degrees. Now we're going to go down, and then we can just copy and paste this by selecting it all. Make sure you got the X-ray so you got all those vertices in there. Then we're going to Shift D to duplicate. Then we're going to G to drag down along the Z axis. And then we're going to mirror along the Z. Boop. Get it upside down. And we're going to get this one. And then we're going to snap. And then we're going to snap it right on top of that. And then we're going to select these two edge loops. Then we're going to go to edge and then bridge edge loops. Now it's basically connected. So we're going to select all vertices, mesh, and then clean up, merge by distance. So all those overlapping vertices are now one. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, we don't need that internal face there. Let's go to Shift N to normalize the normals, or recalculate the normals. And then we're going to join these two by clicking on both shapes by shift clicking, and then Control J for join. And now we're going to connect our edge loops here together. Does this have an extra one? It does have an extra one. It has two extra ones actually. Let's say this one. It really helps that if they have the same number of vertices on these bridged edge loops. So we'll just do that just to keep things clean. Both edge loops have the same number of vertices, and that isn't actually what we wanted. Okay. Should be the same shape, right? These two should go together. These two should go together. So manually select these. I feel like I placed them wrong. Maybe. Get rid of those bridge edge loops. See, now it's clean. Alright, this one should be fine then. Get rid of these and then bridge those edge loops, and they're fine. So now they're connected to each other. And we'll do the same down here. So we gotta give it some extra loop. Oh, just this one has it. Down here, let's say. These two merged automatically, I guess, so... Alright. Let's see if we can get it. These edges, bridge edge loop, still not. Okay, it's manually. Oh, maybe that's why, because I didn't have this one selected. Yeah. Alright. So they're close together, and let's see how much we need to push this inward by. I would just shove that via the y-axis there, G and then Y. I'm pushing it in. How much room do we have? It's about 9 millimeters and 11 millimeters, so total about 20 millimeters, and I think that's pretty good. That's where baby can grab it. Nice rounded handle there. I'm probably going to print it just with this on top and then have some support down here that I gotta get rid of. Printing it upwise like this, rather than printing it with its face down, because that would mean these nice smooth lines would get ruined. And I'd rather have just some support at the bottoms instead. That's a bit easier to conceal. I think the final product will end up a lot nicer. And that's basically it, I think, for this one. That is our Deku shield here. Forgetting anything? I don't think so. I think we're good. Alright, well, thanks for joining me. I've been Ken with Kenjutsu Bring It to Life. Next time, maybe you join me for something else. I haven't figured out what I want to do yet. Alright, thanks for watching, folks. And after printing and painting, here are the results. A set of hopefully toddler-safe toys for our littlest heroes ready to start their own grand adventures. Stay tuned, I do plan on continuing this series, probably with a larger version of these products to be sure, and then after that we'll continue making more awesome things.